Papa's Pilar. It's a rum, uh, and this particular one was given to us by our friend Kirsten Hemingway, and this is Papa's Pilar, and it's got signed on the bottle Ernest Hemingway. It's the Hemingway family, and I normally have been munching something, but I didn't want to be drinking until we talked to our guest. Our guest is Tom Martin. He's a good friend. We've known each other a few years now, and I finally convinced him to be here on the show, and I cannot wait. There's the bottle. We're going to be drinking some of this in just a minute or two. Don't go away. This is Mark Allen Cooks. We're live. Join us, won't you? See you in a minute. No pizza today, no entree today, just a dessert. That's very easy, very simple, and it's perfect for the summer. And I have to tell you, this is really the first day of summer here in Southern California. Um, I'm in a short sleeve shirt, um, and it's about 74 degrees outside. It's absolutely splendiferous out here, and I can't spell that word. We're going to be talking about Key West, but we're going to go to Connecticut first and talk to Tom Martin from Tom Martin Media. Let's bring him in. Hello, Tom.
Yeah, hey Mark, how are you?
I'm okay. We should also disclose that Tom is our consulting producer and brings us quite a few guests. You brought us Papa's Pilar with
That's right. Yeah, no, I was thrilled that you had a chance to meet my friend Kristen Hemingway. I've known Kristen since she was a little girl, and time flies, you know.
It does, and now she's a writer herself, and I tried to reach out to her because I knew we were going to be doing this, and she hasn't gotten back to me. Kristen, if you're around, call us. Either Tom or me. We'd appreciate it. So on our show today, what we're going to do is we're going to make a key lime pie. We're going to talk about. Um, I was going to say Key Largo, the movie, um, which I
Good
think
movie, by the way. Yeah.
it took place there, didn't it? Key Largo.
Um, I think it was what took place, the Humphrey Bogart movie.
Yeah, the Humphrey Bogart movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was fictitious or whatever, but that's a classic movie with young Lauren Bacall and
Yes.
Bogey. And I love that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great film. Okay, we're going to be making a key lime pie, but before we do that, Tom and I have decided we're going to taste and sip because we're going to do a lot of talking today. Um, some rum. What rum are you going to be tasting?
I also picked up a bottle of the Pilar Hemingway Pilar rum, the dark rum, and I'm going to pour a little bit of this. And Pilar, I don't know if Kristen probably mentioned it when she was on, but Pilar was the name of his fishing boat. And of course, when Ernest lived in Key West, he loved going out almost every day on his fishing boat. And one of his novels that would publish, I think he passed in like 1961, if I recall, but one of his posthumous novels with Islands in the Stream, the movie version starred George C. Scott. But like Ernest Hemingway had I don't know, delusions of grandeur or something, but he was pretty larger than life character anyway. But it was, harnessing the little fishing boat to go hunt the Nazis in the Gulf Stream or something like that.
By the
So
way, the does your bottle have the chain?
yes, 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 it
And
does.
that's in
Yes, it does.
case you drink too much, you won't lose the cap. Okay,
Right.
I'm going to do one more thing before. I have some limes, and this is a Persian lime. I think Tom's going to tell us a little bit about limes. I'm going to take a piece of um, skin here, if I can do this right. Whoops. And I got a couple of pieces, and I'm going to float them in my rum. And I am drinking rum that was finished in Spanish sherry casks. This is my favorite of the Pilars. So, Tom, to you, to health, and to friendship. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. I love working with you, and it's an honor to be on your show tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Boy,
That
that
tastes really good.
it does. Carol, are you going to imbibe or not? She's not sure. Um, Now, Tom has worked, before we start cooking, just a little background. Tom has been a producer for CNN, NBC, and most importantly to me, the Food Network. You traveled all over the country for the Food Network, didn't you?
Yes, I did. That was some years ago. They used to have a show, a half-hour show on every night called Dining Around, and I was forced to go to numerous cities from San Francisco. I was there in L.A. also, Chicago, London,
Oh, you
on and
poor
on.
guy.
I
That's
know we were forced to eat great meals and go into the kitchen with chefs. So it was funny. Yeah, it was. We had a good time.
when you went. Two questions. One, did you get to go in advance so that you could direct the crew, or did you just go in and do it cold? That was question.
Um, we pretty much would wing it. To be honest with you, we were on a low budget, but we traveled and we ate well. So I didn't notice the part about how we were paid very little.
Okay, but your wife may have. And then number two, did you gain weight working for the Food Network?
Uh, I don't think I did because they kept us running around. We did two restaurants a day and hustling the video back to New York. And yeah, it was, and we weren't on the road all the time. It's like 1 week out of the month, 10 restaurants, one for lunch, one for dinner. Then for the next 3 or 4 weeks, we'd edit, I'd write scripts and put them together and stuff. But it was great. I know you had one of my friends, speaking, not Kristen, but Kirsten Dixon from Alaska on, and I met
Yes.
her because that was a Food Network. They sent us up to Anchorage, Alaska. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and when we talked, she was in Homer, Alaska, and the way you get to Homer, Alaska is by dog sled. All right, I'm going to go
Wow.
over to the kitchen to the oven right now. I'm going to hit start. Convection bake. No, I'm going to hit convection bake. I'm going to hit 350 and start. And we'll let that heat up a little bit um, as we make our our pie. Um, Now, before we start again, you had an interesting story. You got married in Key West, and instead of a wedding cake, you and your wife had a.
We had key lime pie. It was great. We had about 6 or 8 friends with us. It was not a huge wedding event. When we got back to New York City, we had a little party, and so we invite. That was a couple hundred people, but we just wanted it small and intimate. So we were married on the deck of a restaurant called Louis' Backyard, which is a great gourmet restaurant. I think it's still there. It's still open. Jimmy Buffett used to live next door when he was just starting up, strumming his guitar. We were married on the deck where the Gulf Stream meets the Atlantic Ocean, which is possible down there at the end of the Florida Keys. And
Right.
we were married by a guy in a tuxedo T-shirt. He said it was legal. I assume it's legal. I don't know, but
Well,
anyway.
your kids must wonder about that, I guess, too. All right, we're going to start making this. Being in the Gulf, I was down there visiting a friend, and he said, "Hey, let's go fishing." I said, "You mean on a boat?" And he goes, "Yes." And I said, "Okay." So we get on his boat the next day, and I'm chartreuse, absolutely green. And and he, we're on deck, and I was barefoot in shorts and t-shirt, and he said, "Can you swim?" I said, "Sure, I can swim." He goes, "Good." He picked me up and threw me overboard. And immediately I had no thoughts of being chartreuse. I had thoughts of being eaten by a great white shark. It's
Exactly.
just what happened. All right, let's start making this. Tom, what should I
Yeah.
start with?
Sure. Well, it's very simple. I almost felt a little embarrassed bringing you this recipe, but they're simple ingredients. It's a can of. I have my ingredients here. I'm not going to be actually making it, but condensed milk,
Right.
um, lime juice, and I know you were showing us earlier the
Key limes.
Persian limes, and key limes, of course, are very small and round, and they have a different flavor from the Persian limes. But you want the condensed milk, key lime juice, and two eggs or two egg yolks, and then it'll just be whisked together. It's pretty straightforward.
All right, well, good. We thank Melissa's, of course, for providing us with key limes, and we have enough key limes to go into the key lime pie business. We had 3 pounds of them. They also sent us some Persian limes. And after we make this up, do you know about the Persian limes and the key limes? Well, we'll talk about that a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to start by putting the milk in, the condensed milk,
Mhm.
and I have a spatula, and we'll take out all of that. This is sweetened, so there is sugar in this, and this is where the sweetness comes from the pie. The next thing I'm going to put in is the lemon juice now, or the lime juice. Now, this is 3/4 of a cup of key limes. That's a lot of limes, ladies and gentlemen.
You
Um,
had your squeezing department working on that. I understand.
yes, we did. We were wondering where you were um, because that was a lot. That's a lot of work. So
Yeah.
we've got 3/4 of a cup of that. We're going to put that in.
And Mark, I will reveal now. I didn't tell you guys this, but most grocery stores carry bottled lime juice. Also, I think this Nelly and Joe. I mean, I don't get a commission for this or anything, but you can get bottled key lime juice. But I like to use the real ones.
No, I think the fresh is going to taste better.
Yeah.
And mm, I just dropped a piece of a little dribble of the condensed milk. Now, before I add the egg in, I thought I'd whisk this up a little bit. Now, I have 2 egg yolks uh, that I've separated, and we'll take that out. And Carol, without injuring her fingers or anything,
Are you supposed to put it in?
yeah, do I put this in the mixture? This
Yeah,
is
sure.
the zest of the key limes.
I think life deserves more zest, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, okay. Okay. Tom and I and Carol had a great meal together in New York, and Tom and I
Hmm.
had another great meal in New York not long ago. All
Right.
right,
The oyster bar.
at the Oyster Bar, and then we also ate at Lamella in Little Italy, which is one of our favorite New York restaurants. All right,
Yeah. That's
here's to Lamella. Mm, nice. Now, normally I would make my own pie crust, but Tom convinced me to cheat a little bit. This is a pre-made graham cracker crust, pie crust. Now, I have to tell you, you can see this a little bit. Maybe I'll hold it up. It's very delicate. Look at the oven. I'm going to pour this in. Now, this is a 9-inch pie crust. Now, it'll cook in about 10 minutes. We're going to let it, whoa, I want to get every drop,
hmm
right? Hold on. Now, that looks pretty good to me.
beautiful.
And the, uh, the, the, the oven is almost almost at 3:50. We'll wait a second. I just wanted to show you what Carol made. Carol was doing the lime zest, right? I don't know if you can see that. It's very pretty. Look at that.
Wow, very artistic.
Yes, she is very artistic.
I think
She
you
does
should
it
keep
all.
her.
Yes, she is. I can't tell you how many years I've said that for. We actually have an anniversary coming up. The day
Wow,
we met
congratulations.
is coming
Happy
up
anniversary.
the end of June. It's
Nice.
15 years,
Wow. Yeah.
right? All right. I'm going to open up the oven. And Carol, I'm going to put this directly on the rack. And again, this is in a pre-made aluminum shell. And there we go.
Graham cracker.
And graham cracker crunch. It was hard to find, by the way. There he goes. That signifies. So, Carol, you'll watch for 10 minutes. I'm going to move my glass here. I have a spoon ready to taste. I'm going to show the pilars again and just have another little sip in here.
I think that's how Julia Child would want it, actually.
I'm sorry?
Julia Child would approve of this.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Did you ever interview her?
I did not interview her, but I met her one time, and my mother. I mean, I used to watch the French Chef with my mom. She had all the cookbooks, Mastering the Art of French Cooking, and so I had to ask her, "Is it true you really dropped a chicken in the kitchen and said you are alone in the kitchen?" And she said, "Well, actually, it was a potato, but at least I got to ask the legendary Julia the question." So
So I
she was.
asked her, I did interview her once,
Oh wow, that's great.
and she was great. So I asked her, I said, what would you rather eat? Airplane food or McDonald's? She answered like that. What do you think the answer was?
Airplane food.
No, McDonald's. She said,
Really?
no matter where I go in the world, I know that McDonald's is going to be the same. It's going to have the same flavor and everything else.
Good
Airplane
point.
food is
Yeah,
not very good. Though
we
we
know
were
that.
on Turkish Airlines, Carol and I, and the food was pretty good. It was the best uh, coach I've ever been on. I try not to fly coach, but that time we did. As you know, we just came back from Istanbul.
Yeah,
All right, I'm going to toast to Tom Martin and Tom Martin Media. Do you have let's talk about limes, and then I want to talk about Key West.
sure.
So here we go.
Yeah, to you, Mark, and thank. I love your cooking show. It's an honor to be part of your team.
You are part of the team, and we've got some news that we'll be sharing in the next few weeks here on the show. We're going to be redesigning a little bit of the kitchen and expanding our reach as well. Um, uh, so this is a Persian lime, and why they call it that is something I can't figure out, Tom, because this is a regular lime, and I like to scratch the skin and smell it. It smells so good. Um, I'm sorry, what? Oh, Carol will smell like limes for a week because she was
That's your, that's
zesting,
your, big- that's your
right?
big announcement. We're gonna have smell-o-vision starting soon, right?
We are working on that, Tom. You're in
Okay.
charge of that development, by the way,
Okay.
as our consulting producer. Um, One of the things about this is that this is a modern lemon. It's a lime. It's a hybrid, and it was developed not in Persia, but in California. Pretty interesting. And all citrus, I mean, grapefruit, oranges, lemons, limes. Uh, are there any other citrus that anybody can think of? No? Okay.
Grapefruit.
Yeah, I said grapefruit. Anything?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah. Um, they 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 are from that region originally,
Huh.
and I guess that's why we call these Persians. Now, let's take a look at whoa, at the very slippery key lime. And these are
Mhm.
from the Florida. Yeah, you've got one too. Um, they have a similar flavor and nose or smell, aroma, but not the same. They're a little sweeter than um, the Persian, at least it, as I was tasting earlier today. So that's a little bit of history of the limes. And oh, last but not least, why are British sailors called limeys? Because in the 1800s or 1700s even, the captains of ships realized that their crew would not develop scurvy if they sucked on limes, and that's how they became limeys. All
Wow,
right.
that's amazing. Well, this is a scurvy-free dessert, I promise.
Yes, it is a scurvy-free dessert. All right, you grew up in Florida, Tom. I don't know
Yeah,
what. Go ahead.
yeah, no, I think of Florida, South Florida. Miami is home. My dad was a lifelong newspaper editor, and during most of the '70s, he was one of the top editors at the Miami Herald. And so it was a great place to grow up. Great weather, of course, fishing and so on, and the seafood, of course. And
Hold
often
on
our
one
family.
second. You go fishing?
I haven't in many years. Somebody else was asking me about that recently, but no, no. So not lately. I should. I mean, I have a couple of friends. I mean, as you know, I worked closely with Charles Kuralt for many years, and he loved
Yeah.
trout fishing and fly rod casting in Montana. And it was interest. I don't know. This is a little bit of a diversion, perhaps, but we talked about our friend Kristen Hemingway. I met Kristen, of course, when she was a young girl, maybe 12, 14 years old, because every July 21st, it's Ernest Hemingway's birthday in Key West. So when I got out of college, I traveled down there to attend the festival. It was a great time. And I met her mother, Lorian Hemingway. And Lorian is one of five children of Ernest's youngest of the three sons. And so she has a story basically where she said, I really felt compelled to live the Hemingway myth, go out in the Gulf Stream, catch the billfish and marlin and all that. And it was just, it was like too much. Not that she wasn't capable, she did a great job. But not long after that, she moved to Seattle, Washington, and she also get into fly fishing. And it's just a great family. It's really nice to know a few members of that great family.
And Kristen, I think, is still in the Pacific Northwest. I think she's in Portland. If I last I we talked. Um, Growing up in Florida, which is the South, your mother came from New Orleans, and my mother spent about 3 or 4 years in New Orleans.
Wow.
We were going to make, by the way, a shrimp Creole. We'll have to figure out how to do that. That was Tom's. That's Tom's signature dish, and it's from his mother. But it takes
Yes.
a couple of hours to cook, so we decided to do the key lime pie.
If you have time lapse photography, we can do it.
Yes, when we get the smell of vision and the time lapse together.
These are all innovations. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
exactly. Um, Visiting Key West. Tell me what I've never been. I've been to the Gulf. I've been to Miami numerous times, and Florida many times. Um, um, what what is it like there, or what was
Uh,
it like there?
Yeah, no, it's had several chapters along the way, of course. Again, my old friend and mentor Charles Kuralt said he loved the corners of America because somehow the eccentrics and the colorful people gravitated there. The tip of Alaska, the tip of Maine, maybe way down in certain parts of Southern California, there where you are. But certainly Key West was the end of the line. That's what they called it, that string of islands. The Keys. And so way back, I mean, they had shipwreck salvagers and so on who brought timber on board onto land, and they built beautiful Victorian homes. The architecture in Key West is quite beautiful. In the 1950s, a little before my time and your time,
Yeah.
Harry Truman had the Winter White House in Key West, and but it also always had kind of an outlaw sensibility. And so again, during my time with CBS Sunday Morning and Charles Kuralt, I got to know Jimmy Buffett a lot. Growing up in South Florida, Jimmy Buffett was one of my favorite musicians. And
Yeah, I
so when I
love
had a
him too. I like
produce a story about him, I
yeah.
did. Yeah, yeah. So he loved all those colorful characters. They made great stories. I think he was born in Alabama, but pretty quickly moved to Key West. And you know, one of my favorite novelists, a guy by the name of Tom McWayne, uh, wrote a few novels about Key West, kind of the outlaw sensibility there. Tennessee Williams moved down there to have a White House, not a White House, but Harry Truman had the White House, but Tennessee enjoyed living down there and writing his great plays and stuff like. So it's always had a very colorful story history. I also got to know Mel Fisher, the treasure salver. He had his sights set on a Spanish galleon called the Atocha, and he spent like 20 years every day with his diving team going after it. Like, we're going to find it. And he started each day when he walked into the office, said, "Today's the day." And I recently heard my friend Tony Robbins talk about that. Like, let's have that attitude. Like, anything's possible. Today is the day. But there were a lot of great characters down in Key West.
Well, I've had the pleasure of producing some shows for Tom, Tom Martin. What are we calling them now?
They're my video podcast episodes, which I still need to unleash. Many of them we've recorded, but years ago I thought to write a book called "Wisdom All Around Us," because again, Charles Kuralt really believed that every one of us has wisdom and a story to share, and you don't need to be a celebrity or a politician or what have you to have something meaningful to say. Listening is kind of a lost art these days, as you know, you're a great interviewer, so I bet you'd agree with that.
Thank you.
But yeah, so I thought "Wisdom All Around Us" would be a great title for my book, and still have to finish the book. But I thought that'd be a great title for my newsletter and for the podcast episode. So
Yeah,
I'm honored that you agreed to work with me. So thank
yeah.
you.
No, it's been a pleasure to do that. Um, your mother. Oh, what? Oh, I'm gonna go check the pie. Let's go check the pie.
Oh, yeah, I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, I forgot about the pie. We talked so much. It's it's not browning. Should it brown, Tom?
No, you might. I don't know if you can just touch the center. You might want it to set a little bit, like you know, like
Oh,
brownies or something.
mm,
It doesn't need to like be super firm, but it just to mix the ingredients. And I think egg
oh my,
yolks you want to cook a little bit, you know. So
that. Oh, I just tasted. Oh, it's really good. Um,
good.
so Tom is multifaceted. Okay, he does public relations and marketing. He's doing a podcast. He is politically correct. I like that part. Um, he is um, involved. He tries to surround himself with people who are making a difference in the world, and many of his clients do just that. Um, my thought was, how does what's your thought on? I have to tell you, maybe I need to stop. Um, the, the you know, Tom Martin Media, he's not stopping. Tom Martin Media, you work with people that are changing the world. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And that doesn't mean, hey, they're super famous or they've got, you know, an empire or anything like that. I think we can each change the world. Isn't there? There's some famous Margaret Mead quote saying, you know, the band, you know, never underestimate a concerned band, you know, dedicated to, you know, doing the right thing or something like that, that they have the power to change the world because that's the only thing that ever has. You know, and Steve Jobs said, you know, here's to the, unique thinkers and all that. So we don't need to be famous or anything like that. But I just finished earlier this week, finished teaching a 12-week course that I called Ignite Your Media Influence. and I had 6 students in there, all amazing people. We really bonded as kind of a tribe. But these were all survivors of certain challenges. You've met my friend Victoria
Right.
Essner, who's legally blind, and a couple of cancer survivors and so on. So they all really want to get out there and share their message. They have an issue, whether it's about caregiving or starting a second life in your career, and things like that. So I just said, hey guys, get out there. Every one of us has something to offer, and so many people hold themselves back. But I think when you really have some wisdom that you want to share with others and encourage them to become more, whether it's helping children or people who, face some kind of discrimination or something like that. It's a wonderful thing. So I just say, please don't hold back on that. Let's get out there and get our message out into the media. And I'm grateful to you that you've interviewed a number of people I've sent your way. So thank you for
Right.
doing that.
And that's on our sister show. We have uh, uh, Patty is saying something. Carol, you're going to have to read that to me.
Makes key lime with
Oh yeah, Patsy, my friend Patsy.
Ah,
Bill being diabetic. This is his huge treat once or twice a year.
got it. Yeah. And
Patsy's amazing. Again, she's a survivor, overcome many things. Won't even get into it right now, but really wants to get out there and make a difference. And I love being with people like that. Yeah.
all right, we're going to check the pie again. It is setting up. I'm going to give it just one more minute
I
because I
know
have
it's been in there for like 16 minutes.
16 minutes. I think it can handle one more minute. Okay. And because I want yesterday, and Tom sends me pictures every now and then, and that is that Tom likes rock and roll.
Yes,
So
sir.
I've saved my hair for Tom.
You look very rock and rollish today. Absolutely.
Yes, thank you. And this is my rock and roll hairdo. Um, you saw a group probably nobody has ever heard of before. You've seen them three times, once in New Orleans, once in New York, and once last night in Philadelphia.
That's true.
Holy moly, you love the Rolling Stones.
The Rolling Stones, yes, greatest rock and roll band in the world, and the fact that Mick Jagger and Keith Richards are both now 80 years old. I mean, I remember I went with a couple of college buddies, and we started listening. Went to our first Rolling Stones concert in 1981, and when we saw them in New Orleans, he said, "This was our first hit 60 years ago." You don't see hear many bands say something like that. So it was. I think it's keeping me young. So
I've just gotta ask Carol, can I say those three words? As well, it just goes to show sex, drugs, and rock and roll, it keeps you young. All right, we're gonna
we
take
don't
the
support
pie.
that. I don't know about that. Yeah, all right. Go ahead.
I know, it's just, all right, we're gonna take the pie out. I'm gonna turn it off. Whoa, it's set up very nicely. Oops, I burned it myself. We're gonna put it on a trivet here, and just so you can see,
It's pretty color.
um, this is the pie, obviously, and the recipe, Tom's recipe, calls for letting this cool, and then we stick it in the refrigerator for a couple of hours to freeze, to cool down. But I'm gonna just, all right, Carol, that'll be my piece. Okay, all right, okay. I've had key lime pie, and I like it. This is really good,
Oh, good.
and it's easy. It is so
Yes.
easy. Tom, thank you very much. Will you come back sometime?
My pleasure. Yeah, no, I'd love to. I'd love to. I have a few
Oh,
recipes in mind, but love joining you. Thank you.
I forgot. We have to say thanks to Melissa's because they provided us with the key limes and with the Persian limes today. And thank you, Robert. Robert was on last week. Robert will be back in a couple weeks, actually, um, in a pre recorded show that we did with him from Melissa's. Tom, thank you very much. Maybe we'll figure out a way to do that shrimp because we were going to have shrimp tonight, but I ran out of time. So I get a
Okay.
turkey sandwich instead. All right,
Yeah.
we're going to say
Yeah.
goodbye.
Thanks,
Tom,
Mark. Really appreciate
hold on, okay? Don't go anywhere. Stay there right now. All right, next week we have a real special show as we do each and every week. We're going to be talking with George Geary. George is a chef, a writer, he's a TV personality, and he's written several books. But we're going to be taking a look at his book, LA's Legendary Restaurants. We're going to be doing a recipe from. Should I hold it up? Oh, okay. Got it. From this book. And that's a picture of the Brown Derby, which was a very famous Hollywood restaurant on Hollywood Boulevard. And something like 7 miles from where I was actually born. And I never got there, but we're going to be making one of their dishes. Carol ate there. I did not. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back next week. Have a nice week. See you later. Bye bye. Patsy, thank you.